Axios' Barak Ravid reported that Trump had pressured Benjamin Netanyahu not to attack Iran while U.S.-Iran negotiations are ongoing. Trump yesterday was asked about that at a White House briefing and did something unusual for an American president. And you can watch.
Did you warn Prime Minister Netanyahu against taking some sort of actions that could disrupt the talks there in a phone call last week?
Well, I'd like to be honest. Yes, I did. Next question, please.
Mr. President, just last on sanctions.
I did, yeah.
If Senate Republicans want to push
It's not a warning. I said I don't think it's appropriate.
What exactly did you tell him? Did you
I just said I don't think it's appropriate. We're having very good discussions with him, and I said I don't think it's appropriate right now. Because if we can settle it with a very strong document, very strong, with inspections and no trust. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anybody. So no trust. I want it very strong where we can go in with inspectors, we can take whatever we want, we can blow up whatever we want, but nobody getting killed. We can blow up a lab, but nobody's going to be in the lab, as opposed to everybody being in the lab and blowing it up, right? Two ways of doing it. Yeah, I told him this would be inappropriate to do right now because we're very close to a solution. Now, that could change at any moment, could change with a phone call. But right now, I think they want to make a deal, and if we can make a deal, save a lot of lives.
So the U.S. has alternately said that its red line is that there can be no Iranian nuclear enrichment, even for civilian purposes, and has also said that there can be enrichment for civilian purposes. The Israeli position is that there should be none.
Right.
The Iranians have said, if that's your position, we're walking.
Right.
Like we want a civilian nuclear program.
Which Israel knows, which is exactly why they hold the position they hold.
And Israel keeps recommending the Libya option.
Yeah, that's real appealing for Iran.
And they keep calling it the Libya option. Look up how well it went for Gaddafi after agreeing to give up all nuclear weapons. And I don't think there are any countries that have regretted going for it. So the game theory is such that you're not going to get them to agree to zero enrichment. The latest news coming out of the Trump administration is the most Trumpian thing ever, that the U.S. is saying, okay, if there's going to be enrichment, the U.S. wants to invest in it. And we're going to do it with the UAE and Saudi Arabia, and there'll be a consortium, but U.S. companies will be involved. Like if there's going to be an Iran nuclear program, we want to make some money off of it. Which, fine, go ahead. That's like the nuclear version of the Golden Arches, foreign policy strategy.
Yeah.
And Trump loves to say, look, let's make deals. Let's do trade rather than war.
Whoever came up with that idea is actually kind of brilliant.
Yeah, it's great. And so we'll see how that goes. That's the latest at New York Times. You can put up D2 here. This is related to the call that Trump made. They reported one concern for American officials is that Israel could decide to strike Iran with little warning. U.S. intelligence has estimated that Israel could prepare to mount an attack on Iran in as little as 7 hours, leaving little time to pressure Netanyahu into calling it off, which is why Trump pre-pressured him into just not doing this. This caused Ben Shapiro to lose his mind. I don't know if you saw this.
I didn't.
He's ranting and raving, saying that Netanyahu should just do it. That Israel is not a part of the U.S.-Iran negotiations. Israel is the one that is threatened by Iran's nuclear program. Israel should just bomb them immediately. Problem for Shapiro's idea is that Israel can't take out the nuclear program without U.S. help, according to American intelligence estimates.
Yeah.
And so they could bomb things,
well, I think
but they can't accomplish their mission.
I think the idea is basically if Israel conducts some sort of significant strike, even if it, necessarily falls short of actually taking out the nuclear program, and obviously would create a, dynamic where Iran feels like they have to retaliate, that the U.S. would feel that once again, we would have to get involved to protect Israel from that retaliation. And then we would be, all in. I think that's the sort of calculation there, even as there's an understanding, okay, Israel can't do this on their own. So the thinking is, okay, well, how do we force the U.S. to get dragged into this on behalf of, of protecting us here as we did before? So that's the Shapiro, I guess, logic it would look something like that.
Yeah, and you had is it Mark Levin or Mark Levin? I always say them both.
I say Levin, but I'm not really confident that that's how it's said.
Let us know. I'll try to remember this, but you can put up his post. He did a Memorial Day post that was, I guess, supposed to began initially by celebrating American troops, but then it pivots to it's imperative that we basically not reach an agreement with Iran. We must also reject agreements with foreign regimes and groups that seek our destruction and endanger the very existence of our nature and future generations of Americans. Like explicitly anti-diplomacy. Do not strike a nuclear deal with Iran. The U.S. intelligence estimates also, by the way, are that there is no pursuit of a nuclear weapons program in Iran. There's no interest in it.
That's right.
But if they are attacked, that will tip the balance towards them pursuing a nuclear program. So
can't really blame them.
No, that's how this game theory works. Of course, like if it's impossible to strike an agreement with somebody,
yeah,
because on principle they are against an agreement and just want war, then it's war.
It's also, we just sort of take for granted in the American context that it should be a #1 foreign policy priority to keep Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. And listen, I'm against nuclear weapons in general. I would like to see nonproliferation. I would like to see the stockpiles rolled back, et cetera. But there are many countries, including Israel, around the world that have nuclear weapons, and it's not like the end hasn't yet, at least,
yet ended the world.
Been the end of the world.
Yeah.
But we just take for granted in the American political context that this should be a #1 foreign policy priority, and I think that needs to be questioned as well.
Yeah. And so the other faction of the MAGA movement, kind of led by Bannon, has been addressing this as well. So here's Bannon interviewing Kurt Mills, who's the editor-in-chief of the influential American Conservative magazine, asking him about where kind of that wing of the party stands on allowing a civilian nuclear program for Iran. Let's roll that.
Is American Conservative and yourself, are you guys comfortable with even an advanced verification program like this and not taking it apart brick by brick peacefully, not with air raids, but peacefully, doing whatever you need to do economically to get them there? Are you guys comfortable that we can live with even a verification program that we have inspectors going in, sir?
I think we are. I mean, look, if the Iranians called up the United States yesterday and said we want to unilaterally disarm, we want to get rid of all our stuff, I think we should accept that deal. But they're not going to do it. The reality is zero enrichment of any sort, of having no nuclear program whatsoever, is they're almost certainly going to walk away from the deal. And if they sign it, they're just going to be lying. So it's not really a deal worth pursuing. But a civil enrichment compendium or corridor with the Gulf states, with the U.S., with U.S. inspections, I think is quite acceptable.
What that shows, the kind of isolationist America First wing, is that if they strike an Iran deal, that includes civilian enrichment. Mm-hmm. There is substantial support in the Republican coalition for an agreement along those lines. So, and that they're willing, people like Bannon and Mills and others who will be making the case for it.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
That is encouraging. All right. Well, a lot of question marks there as well, but we'll see. We'll see where that goes, and we want to make sure to keep our eye on it because it is so significant.
Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show ad-free and in your inbox every morning, you can sign up at breakingpoints.com.
That's right. Get the full show, help support the future of independent media at breakingpoints.com.